welcome back to Cinematic Adventures. Don't forget, if you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, basically anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you find links to not only this show, but some of our other shows like the Multiverse Fancast and MF Uncensored. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul. With me in the studio and in my brain and in my headache, we have Sean. Sean, how are you today?
I am great. Well, that was an amazing intro. Thank you so much.
It only took 42 minutes. Ronnie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. This is Cinematic Adventures. Are you sure you're in the right place?
No.
Okay, then.
What's
We're going
this
to
show about?
movies.
I don't know movies.
You don't know movies.
And not comic book movies, just movies.
Oh, this is going to be a little weird, huh?
Oh, awkward. Okay.
All right.
Do my best.
Well, here we are. And in honor of the brand new Peacock show, I was a little scared to say Peacock with Ronnie in the room.
Why?
No reason. Don't worry about it.
We're talking about Dick later.
Yeah, we are. Next episode of Multiverse Fancast, Tick Tracy. Context, please. All right. So, yes, we are going. Nobody said thank you. We are going to be talking about today the classics, the surprise comedy hits, I'm trying to think of a good phrasing, like the cult favorite. I don't know. No, they were successful. They were very
call them cult. I would call them
cult.
just successful comedies.
And that is Ted and Ted 2. Definitely not A Million Ways to Die in the West.
We will talk about that at some point.
I know, and we'll do a
That is
whole
great movie.
We'll do a whole episode for you. All right,
I do love that movie.
I know you love that movie.
All right, back to our TED Talk.
Oh, you were waiting. Ronnie was patiently waiting to drop his TED Talk line. So, before we get started, obviously, we have two movies to talk about. We're not going to be talking about the new series, though. We want to finish that in its entirety, or at least build up the courage to pay for Peacock, because
I have it.
you have Peacock?
Yeah.
What?
I
Why?
like Peacock.
Like the actual version?
I believe
Yeah.
so.
So here's my Peacock story, really quick. While we're here,
You have Peacock story?
I have a Peacock story. So I want
Like feathers and all?
no, like the actual television. Stop it! I hate you so much. You're off the show. He's not on this show. Damn it. Anyway.
All right, bye guys.
All right. So yes, Peacock, the streaming service, it is included as part of my cable network, but it's the not full version.
No.
So
Because you're not paying for it.
That's what free means.
yeah. So
So
even though technically I'm paying for cable, so I don't get anyway.
just
So I wanted to watch the new Twisted Metal show, and
Okay.
it let me watch one episode.
And then it was like, give us your money.
It literally said to watch the rest of the show, you have to pay. And I was
I
like,
feel like only $5 though a month.
it's like
Something like
it was
that.
like $3, but on principle, I was like negative
That's
Ghost
fair.
Rider. So now I'll never watch Ted, or I'll never watch Twisted Metal, which apparently is getting another season, but that's okay. So Sean, why
Yes,
don't
sir.
you give us some? How do we interrupt each other less on Zoom? It's even crazier.
Because it's all delayed.
You're delayed. That's not nice.
Hey, that's what my parents said about me.
Wow. All right. So my editing's gonna be a lot of fun today. Why don't you give us some quick facts about the original, the first Ted movie?
Well, obviously, Ted came out, 12 years ago. That's crazy.
Mhm.
So, for anyone out there who doesn't know, Ted is created by Seth MacFarlane, who obviously is the creator
Genius.
of Family Guy, The Orville. Those are his two major, American Dad, all that. This was his first foray into feature films. And it's, we kind of walked into this movie not really knowing what it was going to be.
I wanted to see Magic Mike,
Yeah, we
It
know
came
you
out at
did.
the same time.
like the exact same time.
Really?
Because the
I
running joke
really-
on the internet, was all the men wanted to see the movie about a teddy bear, and all the women wanted to see a movie about strippers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
But as far as I recall, in terms of trailer, they really didn't give away much because obviously you couldn't
Give anything
get away
away.
with the jokes
Yeah.
that in trailer wise. We just knew it was a talking teddy bear that sounded like Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound that much like Peter Griffin. He says it in the movie. That's a line. That's a line in the movie.
Yeah.
So, but that's pretty much the backstory into that. How this movie came about, and boy, did it blew up the box office when it came out. It was
Yeah, it did.
I don't know if I would call it a surprise hit, but it was definitely.
I think it exceeded expectations.
Exceeded
Let's go
expectations.
with
I think it
exceeded
would be a
expectations.
surprise hit because this is one of the movies that, if I remember correctly, the critics could not stand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably fair.
But the fans loved it, and obviously the fans are the ones
But
paying to go see it.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I could tell you from my perspective, I was like, what's he gonna do here that's different from Family Guy? And it's very Family Guy in terms of there are cutaway gags in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of 80s references.
You know, a lot of 80s references and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff he couldn't get away with on Family Guy.
Yes.
He goes full out in this movie in
Yeah,
terms
he
of
does.
just over the top, crude, you know, just really crazy stuff. But it is very easy to watch this and go, okay, it makes sense that the guy who created Family Guy did this.
Yes.
So, Ronnie, what were your thoughts going into the first Ted movie?
My initial thoughts were like, all right, this seems like it's funny, seems good. You know, I like Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy, big Family Guy fan. So I was like, I gotta give it a shot because it's Seth MacFarlane. But that was my only interest in it. But then after watching it, I was like, amazing. One of like an all-time good movies, I think.
It's hard to pick apart this. Like, you were the perfect generation for this movie. Like, 2012, we were what? 27?
25.
25?
Yeah. I mean, you could even say it's geared to people older than us. Because, I mean,
It's like that 20 to mid 30 range.
Let's also establish this. Like, we sat in that theater. I will never forget this. And we're 25, and I swear the rest of the theater was probably like 15, between 15 and our
Seth
age.
MacFarlane.
And when the airplane scene comes on, the disco scene with Mark
Mhm.
Wahlberg and Mila Kunis, I swear to God, I think the three of us and our friend Matt were the only ones that laughed.
Yeah.
Because we were the only ones who knew that joke.
Yeah.
Only ones. And then the Flash Gordon stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no one under the age of us probably understood any of the
No.
jokes in that, with the cultural references that were going on in
Yeah.
that movie.
Right.
But that's what I love about Seth MacFarlane. He is so random with his
Yeah.
pop culture references, going all the way back to just random musical scenes in Family Guy, you know, Music Man, you know, stuff like that. I love that stuff. That is the one thing I will never not love about Family Guy, old Family Guy.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what season Family Guy kind of like went off the rails.
Probably when he stopped really focusing on it.
Yeah.
He just does the voices now. He doesn't. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the writing. You know.
Oh, he's just there. He's just there for his paycheck. It's funny because a lot of his other projects are kind of fizzled. So
Orville finally got canceled, right?
So the Orville got moved to Hulu off of Peacock, and
Yeah.
they.
Which I thought was actually a smart move.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and it was a serious show. It was not a comedy.
With Fox
Fox screwed
that
that
up.
one.
Fox
They,
What else is new?
yeah, seriously. But they moved over to Hulu and they did another season there, and they like rebranded it like Orville New Destinations or something, New Horizons. And I remember watching it. I was like, it's actually really good. I love this show, and I haven't heard anything yet.
Nah.
So it doesn't look like it's coming back, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens.
That's the thing is a lot of times when things go from cable to streaming, it goes there to die.
I would argue we've seen a couple of other shows that go like Young Justice was a great example. It went to streaming to be revitalized.
Yeah.
Manifest.
Which I was still very disappointed with the ending of Manifest.
I didn't watch
Yeah.
it, but I remember that because it was just all of a sudden Netflix just became a huge view.
Yeah.
Netflix. Suits is getting a
Suits.
spinoff.
It did. Pearson already came out on Peacock.
Oh, really? It's already
Yeah.
out.
It's already out.
Already out?
Yeah.
I should get
Oh
Peacock.
no, they were, but I think there's another one that they're coming up.
There's
Oh,
not,
is there?
they want to
Like an
revitalize
LA.
it.
It's like
Yeah.
an LA version. I
Oh,
don't think
okay.
any of the original cast is coming back, but it's like the LA version.
Well,
stuff
you know,
like that.
see the money, want to stay.
No, I listen. Hey, I get it,
But going back to Seth
Yeah.
MacFarlane, because then he did the Cleveland show, and I remember at the time they were like, we're doing a Family Guy spinoff. Everybody was like, Quagmire,
Yeah.
and it was Cleveland. We're like, huh, that's really interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But here we are, and that's that. So he then moves on, and he's not really. He does A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah.
He does these movies, and yes, like Sean said, he kind of steps out of the focus of Family Guy, and that's really when it did start to dip in quality. So it is what it is. We still watch Family Guy here in our house, like especially the older stuff. But what are you gonna do? Now the surprise for me in these movies is good old Marky Mark.
Mark Wahlberg, I will give the man his props. First of all, he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
He's really established himself as a very, very good actor within the last 20 years. But the man actually can be funny. I mean,
Yeah.
he really can. And
You
This-
have these movies and the other guys.
Love the other
the other
guys.
guys is really acting.
Yeah.
The other guys, I think because of him is what makes the other guys so
Yeah.
good.
Well, the other guys succeeds because Will Ferrell isn't he's not necessarily he's the
normal guy.
straight man in it
Yeah.
for the most part.
He's not the typical Will Ferrell.
Yeah, it's
in
not
that
a
movie.
and I
I
think
mean, I'm trying to remember when Mark Wahlberg was cast in this movie. Like, did he do anything before this that we would have been like, that makes sense? I don't think so. I think we were all pretty much like, wow, okay, Mark Wahlberg's going to be sitting next to CGI teddy bear for a whole movie.
Yeah.
We're like, how's this gonna work? And he, the man, I'll give him, he just doesn't give, he goes all out in this movie.
Yes.
Just with the stupidity, the naming of the white trash names. I will never not laugh at that scene.
Oh, there's
God.
a deleted scene from the second one where they do a similar thing. I forget what it is, but he does that again.
Yeah.
And he doesn't cut. There's no cuts in
There's
it.
no,
Like
it's literally the camera's on him, and you're just like, how are you doing that?
Yeah, we had enough trouble just setting up a YouTube video.
That is very true.
Going back to yours, the other guys was 2 years before this.
Okay.
All right, so I
we
can see
we
that
knew he
probably.
could be funny.
Yeah.
And, but it was definitely a surprise that of all the actors that he was the one that was going to do this movie.
Well, also Seth MacFarlane, he's a lot like Adam Sandler in that if he chooses from his group of friends at this point, like he has a lot of people that make a lot of
Adam
weird.
Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. That's what he does. He just
I
chooses.
just said that. I hate you so much. You're not on the show. You're a guest. Act like it. But like, look at Ryan Reynolds has a non-speaking cameo in the first Ted movie and in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's funny both times.
That's right.
So for like in Mark Wahlberg, obviously they have probably a very good working relationship, great chemistry. So let's talk about this first movie though. The story is very simple, and of course narrated by another Seth MacFarlane fan or friend, Patrick Stewart.
No, Apache helicopter.
The Apache helicopter line is one of the funniest things in existence. Now, this movie starts off swinging too. Within the first 5 minutes, you know exactly what kind of movie this is going to be.
Yeah.
So the story is very simple. Mark Wahlberg's character, what's his character's name? Come on, Johnny.
Oh, I didn't know who you were talking about.
Mark Wahlberg,
Oh.
the main star of the movie. That guy.
Is he the main star?
He is.
Or is it Ted?
Taller star.
Or is it Mila Kunis?
No. Mila Kunis, so much so that they just wrote her out of the second movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, so young Mark Wahlberg's character, John, wishes for his teddy bear to come to life. And there's nothing more powerful than a child's wish, except for an Apache helicopter. And Ted comes to life. And at first he enjoys like this big range of success, and he's like, I'm a talking teddy bear. I love the newsreels, and it gets like the super right-wing conservative. Look what Jesus did. And it's just really like, and that's the thing I like about Seth MacFarlane, original Seth MacFarlane. He has since gone to more of another side of the political spectrum. But in the beginning, he was a lot like South Park, where he lampooned everyone and he made fun of everyone. I always thought that was more fun because once you start seeing agendas, you're like, it's one thing like the character of Brian Griffin. The joke is his agenda. Like that is a defining part of his character. Like how, that's your agenda, but it's also a constantly changing agenda to follow whatever's popular at the time, because that's what a lot of people do. So the movie then progresses, they're adults, they're stoners, like they're living with Mila Kunis's character, Lori.
Yeah.
All right. So let's break down Mila Kunis as Lori. Sean, thoughts? Go. Are you ready?
Am I ready?
Are you ready?
Thoughts on Mila Kunis?
Are you ready for this jelly? No. Oh, it's not funny when I do it. It's not funny when I do it. All right, go ahead.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Mila Kunis.
Thank you.
That's all it is. It's Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis. She's there in this movie.
She is there.
I mean, she really doesn't.
She's the catalyst for change in this movie.
Yeah.
She encourages him and ultimately gives him an ultimatum because men love that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of understand why she wasn't in the second one. There really wasn't much to her character in this one, in my opinion. Listen, I mean, I understand why she was in the movie. She's friends with Seth MacFarlane, are obviously, they both voices on Family Guy. She has a few funny moments, don't get me wrong, but again, this movie is Mark Wahlberg. That's it. Mark Wahlberg is this movie. Like, I feel like everyone else is kind of just there.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
And that's not a knock on them. That's just the story.
We get a call from Seth MacFarlane's agent going, "You knocking us? You knocking on us?"
I don't care.
All right then. So going down the cast list, so the cast list is very strange in that it's got a lot of people in it, but they don't have a lot of big roles in it.
Yeah.
Who's next on the cast list after me?
Joel McHale as Rex, Laurie's manager, and the nemesis.
He is the actual villain besides what's his face, Giovanni Ribisi's character.
Ribisi. I mean, Joel McHale. I never watched Community. I don't know if either of you did. Like,
no, I've seen bits and pieces.
I've never watched anything with him, so I really can't gauge how funny he is.
Didn't you watch Spider-Man 2?
Not in like 10 years.
He's the bank teller that tells Aunt May that she can't have a free toaster when Doc Ock attacks.
Okay.
So if you guys want to listen to Multiverse Fancast, I'll address that. But anyway,
Okay. Thank you for that, because that was the missing part of IMDb's Joel McHale summary.
I can't wait to edit this. But anyway,
Yeah. So after that, I don't really know what to say.
I like Joel McHale in this. Like he's swarmy, he's creepy.
I don't even know if he's creepy. He's just
He's hitting on all the females at his job. That's automatic creepy.
Mm.
Yeah, he's got a position of power that he's using to influence his
is that what he's
employees.
doing?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
Again,
a
I
little
haven't
bit.
watched the movie in a while, so.
just a little bit.
Wiggle it just a little bit.
Just a little
really?
bit.
No, that's a different song. All right, we're gonna get copyrighted. Stop. But anyway,
I'm singing.
that's fair. So I do enjoy.
Sounds better when it's coming from you, though.
Thanks.
I do enjoy
What do
Joel.
you enjoy?
I do enjoy Joel McHale's character. One of my favorite lines is when Ronnie gets the call that Flash Gordon's at the party,
Yeah.
and he's like, you know, I need to disappear for 20 minutes. This is bro code. If you do this, I'm gonna forget all about this stuff with Lori. And he's like, of course, I've got you. And he leaves, he goes, I'm gonna have sex with your girlfriend. I don't know what it is, but it just makes me chuckle because it's so nefarious. And then he does take Lori on an actual date, and he like tries to be like nice about it and like all that. So there's no redeeming quality in this character at all.
No, doesn't he like die of like Lou Gehrig's disease?
Yes,
Yes.
and
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
He's like, I hope you die of Lou Gehrig's disease. And
There
like
you
in the
go.
ending credits, it's like he actually dies of Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah, it's
What
kinda
the
sad.
F, man?
Yeah, it's a little sad, but anyway.
We got Giovanni Ribisi as Donnie, Ted's biggest fan and his stalker.
And the best dancer in this entire
The
movie.
best dancer.
Yeah.
And you see obviously him in the second one, and he's also in
Million Ways to Die in the West.
to the West.
Mhm.
And he is very good at playing awkward.
Oh, yeah.
He's very good at playing awkward.
When we do A Million Ways to Die in the West, we will discuss it.
I mean, I love him in A Million Days to Die in the West. I think him and Sarah Silverman are freaking hilarious together. But in this movie, I mean, you kind of feel bad for him because you see him at the beginning of the movie. Like he is a kid, obviously, he's the same age as Johnny. He sees on TV this talking teddy bear. He's like, I want a talking teddy bear. And he, of course, his parents are absolutely despicable human beings.
Right.
And he grows into this despicable human being with a fascination for a talking teddy bear.
And with the creepy
son.
Yeah.
son.
Doesn't the son
Stand
become?
up straight when you're talking to me.
Who does the son become?
Taylor Lautner.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing that dates your movie quite like having Taylor
Oh,
Lautner in
yeah.
there.
Oh, I
Got
forgot
the
about that.
hot thing at the moment.
Yeah,
Oh
that I
my
can't
God,
act.
that was
But I
great.
love the stand up straight when you're talking to me. What did you just say? And
And then, of course, we get the famous Tiffany song with him every time he hears that.
Oh,
he has
yeah.
that awkward, like,
which he
stalker
does.
dance.
He does
in
do.
a million
Yeah.
ways in the West.
And that's how they get him in the second movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So the movie progresses, and Ted moves out, and he has to get a job because he's got no money,
Mhm.
and he meets the next character probably on the list, which is Tammy Lynn. Yeah.
Tammy Lynn.
Who plays Tammy Lynn?
Jessica Barth.
That's it. Yes, Jessica.
Well done, Ronnie. You were very prepared for the show.
Thank you.
I
Guess
have.
someone was.
I know, right? I have no clue about
Name
any.
one of the things Jessica Barth's been in besides Ted 2, without looking it up.
Probably an adult film.
I wouldn't.
That's mean.
I mean, I can see it, but
Without actually thinking.
without looking it up. You literally just said without looking it
Yeah,
up.
but I love how that's where you go with it.
I
I'm
mean,
trying to think of what else. I don't know.
She hasn't been in anything else.
yeah, there's the joke.
Yeah, see? How I Met Your Mother. She was
Oh.
a church girl.
I can
In an
tell.
episode.
I wonder if she still had the accent.
Family Guy, that's what it is. 3 episodes.
There it is.
Voice Kate Hudson.
That's actually kind of funny.
and a couple
Anyway,
others I have no idea.
Moving on. I will say one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie is when they're out to dinner and they storm off, and producer Melanie and I still quote when he farts and he's like, I wonder who's gonna hit first. And the business guys are like, who did this to us? We are here on business. It always gets producer Melanie will actually die laughing at some point with that. But Ted moves out, he moves into an apartment above a Chinese food restaurant,
Mhm.
and he has a big party to celebrate. You know, him and John aren't really supposed to be hanging out as much. Like Lori's kind of like, hey, you need to
Separate from this band.
you need to be an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're 33 years old. And I was like, oh, now I watch it, I go, oh, as I sit here in my comic book room of podcasting. Anywho, so they're not seeing each other nearly as much. And Lori brings John to this big work party. And it's like a big thing, like my boss is going to be there, et cetera, et cetera. And Flash Gordon, their childhood hero,
Sam Johns.
shows up at the party because he was like a cousin, friend, something or other.
Like that.
And it is probably, again, we're sitting in the theater and we're the only guys really laughing at this when First, when he does the 80s montage of driving there with
Mhm.
like the techno music in the background and the jump cuts to his face and
Yeah.
the tail lights glowing.
And then you get into the apartment and you see him from the back, and he goes, "Hey Sam, this is my friend Johnny." And he turns around, and then boom, the Queen music
Yeah.
kicks in.
And John's hair's blowing.
Oh my god, it was. I mean, we were dying. We were laughing so hard.
And then they all do cocaine together.
They do.
Yeah.
They all do.
They all do some cocaine together, and it's a nice moment.
This again, very much like Family Guy. You know, there's a lot of cameos, a lot of famous people, like just random famous people in this movie. I mean, of course, you mentioned there's a Ryan Reynolds cameo at the end.
No, it's during the party.
Oh, it's during the party.
It's
I thought
during-
it was at the end of the movie.
Guy shows up with him, and he's like, "Hey, this is the guy that beat me up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're in love or
I
whatever."
don't know what it is about it. The one that I laugh at is his boss, and he has the picture of Tom Skerritt on his.
Then he kidnaps Tom
as-
Skerritt's
yeah.
daughter.
And he, at the end of the movie, Tom Skerritt is standing next to him and goes, "I just want my daughter back.
My
I'm just
daughter
like,
better be alive.
wow.
Yeah, dark,
Wow.
but still so funny.
Oh my God. Alex Borstein plays his mother.
Right.
Obviously, the
Yeah.
voice of Lois. Yeah, there's just a lot of, typical cameos in this movie that make it funny. And again, just the reference,
It's the references. So Laurie shows up at the party because obviously he had to drive back into the city. That's way more than 20 minutes to
Yeah.
begin with. And then they end up partying and blah blah blah. And then Laurie gets there and she's like, "You breaking up." And we get some very entertaining fights. There's the one scene in the movie that just doesn't work for me is when he tries to go serenade her at the concert.
Oh, with the James Bond song, it was like,
Yeah.
nobody does it better. It's first of all, it's like one of the not the greatest James Bond songs of all time, because I think it's Octopussy from
Yes.
that movie.
It's from Octopussy.
And I'm just like, they chose that one. Interesting. Okay.
All
And
right.
he's singing, and
Okay.
it's not that good.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
because they watched that
where
movie
are
on
we
their first
going?
date.
Where are we going with this?
what it was.
Oh, they
Yeah.
watched that movie on their first
Yeah.
date. I totally forgot about that.
Yep.
No.
But you thought I was like, oh, she's gonna come back for this, and she doesn't. And I think that was
Most realistic part of the entire movie.
Yeah,
pretty
right.
much.
Wait, the talking teddy bear wasn't?
No. Because the talking teddy bear also then gets kidnapped by Donnie.
And then ripped in half.
Yeah, and then ripped in half. And
You threw me back together.
easy.
Uh,
But they have like their happy ever after. Laurie and John get married, and then the second movie comes
Doesn't
out.
end well, does it?
So let's fast forward.
Or does it?
Well, let's do a Star City rating for the first Ted movie. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Ooh.
Wow.
I can put this movie on almost any time and just watch it and enjoy it and still laugh. Like even when he like throws the bottle at, all right, Kareem. Oh, you suck, Kareem. Like just like the little things. It's well written. It's fun,
Yeah.
and I just really dig it. So
There are some very memorable parts of this movie that still if the movie's on, I'll look for them. Like Thunder Buddies for Life. I mean that
Yes.
caught on. Everybody was singing that song. After this movie came out. I'm gonna give it a 4.
4
A
solid.
solid movie, absolutely. Very, very funny, and just one of those films that, yeah, like you said, if it's on, I can sit down and watch it, or I can just kind of pick and choose my scenes. But it was a solid directorial debut for Seth MacFarlane. It
Mhm.
was, quality that, okay, this guy, maybe this will be the new move in his career. Sadly, he really hasn't directed a movie since
Mhm.
Million Ways to Die in the West, so kind of bummed by that. Yeah, no, I give 4.
Ronnie?
I'm gonna agree with the 4. Again, like you guys kind of said, it's just one of those movies I can watch from start to finish again anytime. It still it's only been 12 years, but like it still holds up. There's a lot of stuff from back then you can really maybe not say and do those things now, but
I still think if they made this movie today, I think they would have kept everything the same.
oh yeah. I think, again, even though you have all these big people in the movie, again, like we said, it's really just Mark Wahlberg and Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah,
It's just his voice, not him.
they're the main focus.
But
point.
they're the main focus, and everyone else is just in it just to get a couple bucks. I mean, more than a couple, but
12
probably more than 12.
inflation 14.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
All right, so that's going to take us on to the sequel, because obviously this movie made a ton of money at the box office, and a sequel was inevitable, right?
it
Even
profited like 500 mil.
something crazy like that. But I think Million Ways to Die in the West was in between, correct? You gonna think about that?
No, I think you're correct. I think you're correct. Yes.
So-
I believe so.
Ted 2 rolls around, and we love A Million Ways to Die in the West.
We do.
Mhm.
The critics and the general audience
Oh, the
didn't.
movie bombed.
Yeah, it bombed. It
bombed.
didn't do
Yeah.
well. I still think it holds up.
It's one of those movies, I'm not gonna lie, when we first saw it, I was like, okay, it's all right, it's not great. The more I watch it though, the more I
The funnier it is.
And that I will stand by still one of the most pissed off trailers I've ever seen in my life because it spoils what would have been a fantastic joke in that movie. Was with,
Oh,
with-
the DeLorean
with the
and the-
Doc
yeah.
Brown
All right, say
going.
it for the episode. I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah,
We'll do it. We're gonna do it. Don't worry. I
Maybe
mean,
it'd be a year before we ever do it, but
at least we really committed to our whole romantic comedy thing for the
you're the
month.
one that was like, oh,
Tom Brady's in this movie.
Too.
Tom Brady is.
Tom Brady's semen is in this movie.
No, you
No,
never.
Tom Brady-
It
I
just
know,
doesn't
just
get that
like-
far. It's just friction. But anyway,
And his golden year.
so
Good spiral.
we spiral. This movie's so quotable. I think this movie's actually more quotable than the first movie. But anyway,
It's up there.
so the movie starts off, and it starts off with the marriage of Ted and Tammy.
Lynn.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not just Tammy.
Is it any of one of those names with a Lynn at the end?
Oh, I got you now, you son of a bitch.
So they're getting married, and it cuts over to John. He's sitting there all depressed because apparently, Lori left him 6 months prior. So like they stayed married for about a year, maybe two.
Like,
So it didn't work out. They never say why. They never really address it.
they actually don't. I thought they were. See, I really was expecting there was gonna be a lot of like jokes about it because Mila Kunis, Meg, you got a lot of jokes
Yeah.
about Meg, but
Shut
they
up, man.
really didn't. They really didn't do anything. It wasn't like that when they fired Megan Fox from Transformers and they had to get that dig in there in
Yeah.
Transformers 3 about her. They didn't do any of that with this. I was kind of surprised.
Well, so if memory serves correct, I think it was a scheduling issue with Mila Kunis.
Is that what?
Maybe.
Okay.
Who knows? I don't know.
You don't know, do you?
I don't. I just guessed, and I really thought it sounded good. So
Possible.
it's totally possible. Like, and again, or maybe they just didn't know what to write her character as. Like, she was already the nagging girlfriend. Do we need the nagging wife who came to her senses at the end? Like, well, that's what she
It would have
was.
been a good redemption story for her.
You're a good redemption story. Wow. And suddenly Ronnie got divorced. But anyway, this kid's is a story of how Ronnie got divorced. But anyway, so the whole point of the movie is Ted discovers that he's actually not considered a person because they want to have a baby. And I'm not gonna lie, the scene in the sperm bank is one of the funniest things in
Yeah.
existence. Like I'm blinking it in. There are two scenes in this movie that I will die laughing no matter what. That and
The Jurassic Park.
no. Can I use your computer really quick? And he goes, what the? And there's so much porn. But what are you doing looking through my private stuff? Private stuff, Johnny, it's wide open. Look at the organization here. And of course, in typical Family Guy fashion, they go outside, break it with a hammer.
Yeah.
No, they can still put the pieces together. We're gonna bury it in the harbor. And then it cuts to them like scuba diving. And like the fact that Seth MacFarlane's like, guys, I got an idea. We're gonna cut and we're gonna spend like $10,000 to
Yeah.
rent a boat, to rent scuba gear, and do an underwater shot for a 4-second bit. And somebody at that table was like, this is genius.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, guy. But then like the movie cuts to basically Donnie is now working at Hasbro.
Mhm.
And when it's determined that Ted is property, it's further determined that he's not treated as a person.
Mhm.
So I like how they actually try and go to court the first time and they lose. They don't
Yeah.
win.
No, they don't.
So, and Amanda Seyfried is the new love interest. She's in the movie. And
Yeah, like Mila Kunis.
But they try to do a little more comedy with her than they really did with Marla.
yeah.
The Gollum thing, which
Oh,
I was like, damn, that's harsh.
Who's Superman? That
What's
scene
the
too.
F. Scott Fitzgerald thing? I found out.
Oh,
Why are you
yes.
saying F. Scott Fitzgerald? That's his name. What did he do to you?
What did Scott Fitzgerald do to you? But I also like the throwing apples at people who are jogging.
Yeah.
That's what you get for being healthy. Apparently, they show the start of that in the TED show. I saw the
Oh,
trailer of
really?
that. So they decide to go on a cross-country road trip, and of course, Ted has to do the famous piano riff
Mhm.
while he's driving. What is it? The mess around?
Yeah.
Doing a mess around. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about it.
And,
So, apparently producer Melanie has determined that anywho is the boomerang word to redirect us back to attention, or it's when you guys start to annoy me and I say it. So anywho, They do their little cross-country trip. They end up at a barn. Ted destroys the car, and they're gonna wait for a tow to get it out of the roof of the barn. Logistics aside, it's just a fun way to segue into a weird guitar sequence with all the animals. I always laugh at, he's got the shotgun. It's like, yo, be careful with that. Don't worry, I don't even think it's loaded. It goes off, he goes flying. And of course, we have the Jurassic Park thing, and yep.
That was a good one.
That is a good one.
They play the John Williams story. I was like, okay, that's funny.
So it ends though, at the end, they make it to New York City for Comic-Con, of all things.
Yeah.
Because, John and Ted have a big blowout after meeting Morgan Freeman. Because, I do like the running bit with the hard candies. Are those candies just for anybody to take? Oh, those aren't supposed to be out. The lawyer does it and Morgan Freeman does it. So Ted gets separated. He manages to get into Comic-Con and gets kidnapped by Donnie wearing one of the best Ninja Turtle suits of all time.
Mhm.
So, and then of course, like the CEO of Hasbro is like involved with it, and Ted sacrifices his life almost, or no, John sacrifices his life to save Ted, and he gets hit by the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah,
that's how I want to go.
Wait, that doesn't know he's faking it.
Yeah, I do love the scene though when they're driving and she tells the stormtroopers to get out of the way, or like, and she makes like a Star Trek reference, and everybody's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And even them in the car, like, "Hey, no, that's Star Wars, that's Star Trek. Like, you can't do that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And like the Darth Vader guy's like trying to, and it's like, "No, it's not worth it." See, if you were gonna put Seth MacFarlane, like a Seth MacFarlane movie anywhere, putting it at Comic-Con is one of the most genius things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is hilarious.
No, I agree with that.
But yes, we do get the ending
Was that
where
actually done at Comic-Con, or was that probably like just a set? You think that was actually done at a
I wouldn't be surprised if some of the footage was at
Yeah.
Comic-Con, but
That's in 2014, 2015. I mean, I don't remember if there was any rumblings, because I don't know if we went to that year.
they do have a Peter Griffin versus Giant Chicken fight though.
They do.
There's a cameo of it during Comic-Con during the big brawl. There are a couple of cameos. One is a guy dressed as Goku going Super Saiyan, which is hilarious. And then there's a Peter Griffin and Giant Chicken actually fighting. So we get to the end of the movie and John like quote unquote sacrifices himself and he pretends to be dead. And Ted's like crying. The best is the doctor, like he's like, "Hey doc, they totally fell for it. Come on in." "Yeah, thank you. We're a fun hospital." He just walks out.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting me back for when I pretended I was, dumb or whatever.
Yeah.
And, John and Amanda Seyfried get together because I don't remember her name. Oh, it's Sam Jackson.
That's it.
It's Sam L. Jackson.
Sam L. Jackson.
You ever see any movie?
Nope.
It's the black guy. That's what Ted says. It's not wrong. So they get together and Tammy Lynn, so sorry, and this guy and Ted get together, they get married and they have their baby.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we have not gotten a Ted 3.
I agree.
I think the prequel was the good
I
way
think
to
the
go.
TV show is it.
Well, you have to see any of it.
Yeah, me neither. I hear it's very good.
Mhm.
Again, and it's on a streamer, so they can get away with anything.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And I hear they do
Which they
not.
need to.
I hear they do not hold back in this show.
Well, they don't hold back in this movie.
No. I'm just saying in the.
Well, one of the most Seth MacFarlane things was the whole scene with the comedy club.
Oh, when they yell out sad suggestions at the
yeah,
end.
the first one. Was that
No,
the
that's this one.
That was in this
That
one.
this
Like,
one.
give us an event. They're like 9/11.
They do that in Family Guy.
Yeah.
That's like I
what I'm
remember when that
saying.
happened in the movie, and I'm just like, really? That's a Family Guy thing.
It was still pretty funny.
It
It's funny.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
I don't think Sean thought it was funny.
Especially when he's like, "Oh, give me a place," and I forget what they said or whatever, and the community is like,
You people are monsters.
I heard Starbucks.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Nobody said Starbucks.
Then name someone at Starbucks. No, Bill Cosby.
You people are monsters. Well, we're giving you the tools, pal. Just make some comedy. Yeah, I will say, I might want to rescind my 4.5 Ted and reevaluate my structure rates because I honestly think Ted 2 is the better movie.
Really?
I think it's funnier.
See, I think Ted is the better movie. This movie is probably slightly funnier.
You're slightly funnier
Thank you for the compliment.
than Ted 1. A perfect spiral.
See, I don't know. I'm not. I still think the first one is the better watch for me, at least. I don't know. But
They're both
they're both very
even.
good.
They're
Don't
both
get me
very
wrong. They're
even.
close for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Ted 2 a 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to sit down and watch both of them and really decide who's the 4.5 and who's the 4.
I was gonna
Yeah.
give Ted 2 a 3.5.
Oh, you're going lower, much lower.
See, I'm gonna put them right at the same 4. I'm gonna give both movies are a 4 to me. They're again, like I said,
A cop out.
Ted is
How
a
he
better
feels.
movie, but Ted 2 is funnier, so it's like very even keel when it comes to everything.
All right then, cop out. We would love to hear what you guys
Not a
have to
cop.
say about what?
So I'm not a
You
cop.
guys.
Jesus. Anybody
I'm
who's
not Jesus either.
Oh wow, this is happening. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments of whatever medium you're watching this in, whether it's a Podbean or YouTube. Sound off in the comments. Which movie is better, Ted 1 or Ted 2? And like, comment, and subscribe, please.
It's not Ted 1, it's just Ted.
I don't want them to get confused with the TV show of the same name.
That's TV Ted.
No, it's just Ted.
Oh,
It's a
you
Ted
sure?
show.
Yeah.
No, it really is just called Ted.
Yeah,
No. He knows.
I know.
He's a terrible.
Yeah, it's-
You people are monsters.
No, the show's name is It's Just Called Ted.
It's just called Ted.
Oh god, I hate you both. But that's going to wrap us up for today. Thank you guys for joining us. If you guys want more of our content, it's super easy. You can go to our website, themisfitfaction.com. You can find more of our shows there. You can find our other shows like Multiverse Fancast, MF Uncensored, and MF Uncensored. It's on there. You're just in that order, guys. All right. And of course, if you want to find us on all the social media, we're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Just type in Cinematic Adventures or the Misfit Faction. Odds are you will find some of our
Are we
stuff.
on LinkedIn?
No, I actually probably should do something with that. Yeah, I need to fix the website too. But anyway, so that is going to wrap us up for today, mostly because I'm so stressed. As always, I'm Paul,
I'm Sean.
I'm Ronnie.
and we'll see you guys next time.
See you.